Hello, my dear ones. Love you guys. I've been so daggum busy. I haven't been able to do videos for you as much as I would like to. There's so much going on, and so many of you guys are getting healed, getting your health back. It's just friggin' amazing. I find that story about the Japanese guy that's been a fruitarian how long? 7 years, 17 years, something like that. They're calling him superhuman. Yeah, I was just talking to a ALS case, and you know, when you have neurological problems, guys, you want to stay on the high fruit and berry levels. You have to realize that each species has a specific food source that's designed for that species. Some of the clues is where the species originated at, obviously, not where they migrated to, is where they originated from. And so understanding that the Homo sapien is a frugivorous species, there's no argument to it, in my opinion. The same thing with the primates. And so you must return to that high level. You know, we are neurological beings. As a species, our vertebrates are getting into the higher orders. The human is, and I've said this before, the highest electrical, neurologically, the highest electrical. Why the fruit? And when you study the electricity of foods, the fruit and berries are the highest electrical. The 3 doctorate professor friend of mine in Canada claims nutritionally, they're the highest nutritionally as well. So how can you go wrong eating the highest electrical and highest nutritional forms of food? You know what our problem is getting good fruit. Some of these farmers down here push to get it out, and they use all kinds of chemistry to promote rapid growth. Well, you lose flavors and everything else, and it's like, I would like to see our world realize that our food source is our pleasure, and that we should enjoy the flavors of very good food. You know, up here we have a particular part of Florida up here that is famous for strawberries. And they've been growing strawberries for years. Well, when I came down as a child and lived on the island here, the strawberries were so sweet and delicious, your toes would curl. It was like, oh my God, how could something be so good? Now, they're harder, they look right, but they're harder, they don't have the flavor. And so I had a gentleman from Plant City in here, and I asked him about that, and he said, we changed species. I said, why the hell did you change species for? He said, it's easier to grow. Easier to grow over flavor and your health, you know, because after getting bad fruit after a while, you just get discouraged. And so we had some Indiana watermelons down here, and it's like, holy crap, oh, I bought 6 of them. Only 1 was bad out of 6. If I'd have bought Florida melons, they all would have been bad, or 5 would have been bad, and I'd have been able to find 1. That's the difference. And I think it's a real sad day when farmers can't get with what's going on with their food sources, you know, and they allow Monsanto and some of these companies to promote, like seedless watermelons and stuff like that. You know, you got the square watermelons, you know. That way you can stack them up better. I mean, man will never stop, you know, and suppose maybe he's not supposed to. But I thought I would just chat with you a little bit here because it's almost lunchtime here, and I just got off a case, ALS case. Hi, honey. Do you what now? Do you want to move your computer? This is fine. You need a computer? No, I'm just talking for a few minutes to the YouTubers, and then got done with that case, and yeah. Found the violet hue. I mean, we were looking at hundreds of eyes yesterday, and we couldn't hardly find violet hues. And the first case up this morning, a beautiful violet hue. A violet hue in the eye is where, I don't know, I can't show names here, but a violet hue, let me see if I can hide the name. Let me show you a violet hue. Okay. You see that violet hue right here, right above there? Now, the left eye has cholesterol plaquing. See that thick white cholesterol plaquing? But there's still this violet hue. And this violet hue is the first indication that you're losing circulation. This is actually the blood now. And we focus a lot on the lymph system because that's what creates poor circulation. That's what creates all these problems. But and then this one eye, you get to see on the left side that this individual is has a lot of acidosis in the head area and therefore plaquing the cholesterols. And of course, out of this, she's got ALS, or what they call ALS. Hey, what color eyes are these? Wait a minute, no name. You better see. Okay, what color eyes are these? This is a good one. Wow, what do you think? There's only two colors of eyes in humans, brown or blue. So this is where's a pin here? I might have been using my desk. All right. So what we got here? This is a skin ring. See this dark ring around the outside? That's a skin ring. So because the skin isn't eliminating well, and this is a chronic state, how dark it is, and because the kidneys are not filtering, this lymph system is past, remember the three stages, acute, subacute, and chronic. The acute will turn this blue eye white. The subacute stage will turn the white yellow. Now you're starting to move toward chronic, which this is a chronic bowel. Look how funny that is. That's chronic, turns a blue eye brown. So you go from white, yellow, and brown. The yellowing and brown gives you a green hazel look. But all this needs to come out. This chronic bowel's got to get out of there. That chronic bowel, get rid of this lymph here. This is all see how thick it is? Got to get the skin opened up. The kidneys filtering. Look at that. Chronic kidneys here and adrenals. Eyes are fun. And I always recommend you learn iridology. It's simple. And I don't know where we are with this children's book, Eating Like Monkeys, but she has a whole segment on teaching children and adults iridology. So that's pretty cool. Let me grab some of these cases here and we'll start going over them a little bit because I've got about an hour here. Let me see here. Oh crap! Oh, this is a good one. Holy moly, guys! All right. This individual has scoliosis, adrenal, and becoming a healer. Oh wow! This is an 18-year-old female here from Europe, and I have severe scoliosis for 6 years now, and it's only getting worse. Now it's at 34. And 48-degree deformity. My blood pressure is about 105/65. So what? Of course, we all know that's been studying this and looking at this, why she's getting scoliosis. So let's take a look at this. Which side of chemistry steals calcium? Acids, right? Because calcium is the most abundant metal in the body. The body's going to use it to fight acids. Why do you think there's scoliosis, petechia, bruising easy, spider and varicose veins, aneurysms, hernias? What could cause a breakdown of connective tissue or the strength of muscle and tendons? What possibly could be involved in that? Or in the skeletal system, what makes it softer or been pulled out of place? And again, the loss of matrix, and this happens under the acidic sky. When you're acidic, that's a death sentence. Your body's going to fight that. Fighting acidosis is called inflammation. That's the body's natural immune response to foreign proteins or acids. And a foreign protein can be a steak. Foreign means out of harmony with the human body. And those foreign acids or proteins initiate immune responses on the mucosa and create mucus. That mucus is a lipid-based, cholesterol involved to neutralize acids. If you want to, this is why people rave a little bit about the ketogenic, because the higher lipid side of that. You know, I was watching the TV and this commercial for the South Beach diet. And you know, these people, they're just promoting this high protein diet. And this person promoting this says a healthy body is a body that has high protein and stuff like, what a friggin' lie. That's about losing weight, not about healthiness. It's easy to lose weight, but not so much to get healthy, and especially by any means other than eating raw food. If you want to lose weight, just go on a raw food diet. Now you got your health and you got your weight loss. If you can't lose weight eating raw, then you've got severe kidney and adrenal problems. You got to work on them and get the edema out, get all that out. You're in a high acidic zones. But 105, that's the systolic, that's our neurotransmitters. Of course, that's down. The adrenals, of course, control the kidneys with mineral utilization, except what? Calcium. Now, where are we going with calcium? Where is one of her problems? Parathyroid, no question, parathyroid. Now, the other question is, we want to see the blood. Oh, she did. Smart girl. Smart. Okay, she put her height in here. I had irregular periods. Okay, so that pulls us into the pituitary side. Now, she says, I am 5'8". You guys are getting it. Look at your height. Now, the height doesn't always give you a clue, because the eyes will give you the actual, there it is. But you're thinking properly. Your thinking is proper. You're looking, feeling for your parathyroid and pituitary, and yet that is a proper way of thinking. However, irregular periods would pull me to the pituitary. The 5'8" probably wouldn't, but the irregular periods would. Then I would be looking at your eyes, of course, to see if you actually have a pituitary weakness or not. I would work with the pituitary with the herbs and the parathyroid glands, because you have 4 of them, with what? Glandulars. I would. Because you want to also remember, you're not only trying to bring calcium back into structure, you have to fix why it lost structure. Why did the body pull it out? The same thing you see when you eat an acid-ash diet. When you eat an acid-ash diet, which is a diet of proteins and beans and grains and things like this, that hits the blood. That acid ash hits the blood like smoking hits the blood directly. So you're pulling in acidic chemistry as opposed to your electrolyte hydrating chemistry. You're pulling in dehydrating, agglomerating acidic chemistry. Well, you can't acidify the blood, right? Yeah, we don't want to acidify the blood, or you're taking another trip from the planet. So, what does the body got to do? Medical doctors, they sit there and they just, sometimes it just sends me to the roof. Oh, you're bicarbonate, right. No, look at the universities around. Universities have found the key, the clue here, and that is called the calcium buffering system. Thank you. And you see it. You see the results. So when you're like in the medical community and you're touting off what you were programmed to think, and yet it's in front of your eyes the effect of that, when you see the symptomology of bruising easy and spider veins and all this stuff, don't you correlate that? Wouldn't you correlate that at all? Especially, how long has the allopathic community been in existence now? So you've got to correlate that. And a correlation of the calcium, you have to look at what's leaching it or drawing it out of the body, and then how do you put it back? Well, the first and foremost thing is the acid side of chemistry raises its little head up and says, I'm at fault. Whether it's metabolitic waste on top of acid-ash diets or whatever. That's what you have to remedy. And I can see here. So you've got to get your kidneys filtering. That's why it's so important. You got to trip up the adrenals for all the utilization of chemistry except calcium. That's where we're going to the parathyroids. And in your case, honey, obviously it sounds like pituitary's involved a little bit here as well. So upper circuit, brain and nerve, you're going there because that moves blood aggressively into all these tissues in the central nervous system. So you're bringing energy, alkaline chemistry, you're bringing all this to come help. At the same time, you got to get the stagnation of the lymph system out of there, the sinuses to break loose. Well, you got to go to the gut to help do that. The gut, everything sits right on top of gut tissue. So you want to get that opened up. Get your kidneys filtering, skin sweating. Because if we are at a parathyroid weakness, the possibility, and especially even if there's a pituitary, the possibility of her also having a thyroid down would be obvious. So she would have thyroid and parathyroid. So her basal temperatures, remember, check them under your arm, could be low. If your basal temperatures under your arm is in the 96s, you can expect scoliosis to start coming your way, particularly in the lower 96s. And if you've got 95, you can expect scoliosis to come, because that's the condition, that's an extreme hypo condition of thyroid, and at that time your parathyroid's definitely involved. So when you understand that the lymph system is the culprit, one system in the human body is sitting there at the pinnacle of causing everything, and you fix that system, which a lot of you guys are doing, you get your remedy. You know, I was talking to Hildy. I Skyped her. She's over in Norway right now, and she sees a lot of you guys getting healed that we don't. We don't know what's going on out there. So,
fair dinkum.
It's a good day.
Yes.
You guys get your healing. Even if you have to work hard for it, you work for it. Understand what you're doing, how you regenerate tissue, which side of chemistry are you on. For God's sakes, you guys already know so much more than the average practitioner. It's not even funny here. I love this. But now it's getting better since I've become big in 10 months. And there we go, 10 months ago. And especially after when I started eating more raw fruits about a month ago. See what I'm saying? You wouldn't think that fruits can do all this. It can do this. It can pull your skeletal system straight. Now, keep going, sweetheart, because your back will start pulling itself straighter, 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 straighter. There's a blueprint to you, and your body will keep pulling that scoliosis straight. Good deal. You want to do that, you know, for all that means, because it isn't just scoliosis. That's just one of the symptoms. Remember, the lymph system is systemic, head to toe. So you could have multiple things going on, plus scoliosis. Yep. I had my tonsils removed, taken lots of antibiotics, had anemia. Yeah. Well, go back and rebuild the body now. You know what? You know that the people didn't know what they were talking about, and you know antibiotics for lymphatics and stuff. So you know where your gig is. You know what you got down. Get those kidneys and adrenals up and filtering. Your low systolic there. Your diastolic looks nice. I like 65. So nice kidney pressure. The top adrenal pressure low. And you want to check both arms. You got kidneys and adrenals on both sides, and you have two different blood pressures, two different blood sugars. It's funny. You got that bilateral differences. What would you recommend me to do? Sending my love back to you, my dear. Well, I do the 100% raw. Particularly, I go up into the fruit level for a while, get my kidneys filtering, look at my eyes. I think you're going to see a pituitary issue there. I would get on the botanicals in terms of the kidneys, the lymphatics, and stuff like that. You might want to get at 18. I go on upper circuit brain and nerve. You're going to love those formulas. I guarantee it. And that's going to help to get everything going and turning on up in these areas. You're going to love that. At 18 years old in today's world, you want to work on your nervous systems. Absolutely, guys, because your adrenals are coming in here with weak adrenal glands. There goes the myelin sheaths of the autonomic. So this is why the nervous system is important for the young people to work on. The skin is important. The lymphatic system. That's where it's getting us all. Skin is the major component of the lymphatic system, the largest eliminative organ of the human body. So obviously, when you're not eliminating, you're seeing acne, psoriasis, you name it. Rosacea, that's all acids under there. I used to have the worst rosacea. And I got to scrubbing my skin good, you know, and using hot and cold compresses. And, you know, the more I learned about the lymph system, you know, I didn't always know about the lymph system. It took some correlation and some remembering when I was fasting in the van and looking at my urine and stuff and correlating urinalysis and it just clicking, you know. But I like to do that. I like to put things together. Let's see how it all fits together. Because if it don't fit together, it can't be true. Nothing is for nothing. Remember, cause and effect rules the day, my dear ones. My husband was diagnosed at the VA with the stage 4 CLL, T-cell lymphoma. Remember that case I told you about, the T-cell lymphoma? This lady, she owned an herb company. And back in the day, some of you would remember that herb company, but it just happened to be the herb company I was using to make my formulas, because back when I first started, I sold my car, I bought herbs. I had this herb company. I researched and got the best one I could get, and then I told them this herb company was 1 to 5 tinctures, and that's why they were good. Even Richard Schultz was going, I recommend them, and it was good, Richard. You were right. They are good. They were 1 to 5 concentrate. And so then I told Michael, I said, listen, man, I don't want 1 to 5. I want 1 to 4. So he looked at me and said, going to cost you. I said, I don't care. I'm a healer. And so we have 1 to 4. But his wife had T-cell lymphoma. She was a bigger woman and salt and pepper hair. During this, and I got her on the fruit. I got her going. Because it's a bigger woman. And I got her going. And so she owned her herb company, much bigger than me. So she got excited and got into the herbs. She was taking mine and she was making her own brews and all kinds of stuff. I think it took her 3 months maybe to get rid of that. Something like that. Wasn't long, 3.5 months or something. But what was significant, salt and pepper hair went to pepper and went to blonde. Her hair started turning blonde. And it was like, what the hell? And she said, well, I had blonde hair at birth. Notice how chemistry changes your hair color even. Ooh. I mean, do we know anything really? Yeah. Some of these cases I'm going, holy crap, what do we really know? Thank God we know enough to regenerate, but look at some of these levels. Look at this Japanese guy that they call superhuman now as a frugivore. I'm telling you guys, you can reach some of these levels, and you young people who are really geared and focused on that, holy crap, you guys can really go. And I'm proud of so many of you guys. I'm just so proud of you guys. All right. He began the Budwick. No. You want to do the Budwick. I don't give a crap what people say. Anytime you have a dairy product mixed with, I don't care what you mix it with. When you have cottage cheese mixed with oil, I don't care what it is. All I've seen with the Budwick is tumor growth. No way. That's a stupid that is ridiculous. No, I know what a Budwick is. About 2 weeks ago, and is feeling more energetic. Get him on fruit, berries, and melons. Fruit, berries, and melons. Let's go after the lymph system. Let's go after that. You want to go after the thymus gland. You want to go after the bone marrow. You want to go after this. He is also going to begin your protocol when it arrives. Excellent. In the meantime, he has given up all meat. Thank you. Good man, still eats a lot of veggies, some cheese. No cheese, no cheese, no cheese. There's some things a little worse for the lymph system than others, and the dairy is by far the worst lymphatic compromising food on this planet. And I'm talking about the cream cheese has got to be way up there among the worst. Cottage, your cheeses, oh my friggin' God, milks, yogurts, kefirs, holy crap. I thought raw milk, of course back then I had raw milk yogurts, and I thought, oh, this is good, now this will be good for you. Oh no, bam! Filled myself back up. I just was in the woods cleaning myself out, opened up a health food store, started eating healthy, I thought. They told me it was healthy. They told me. That's why. Get your own awareness. Stop that thinking process, the conditioned mind. Step about and observe things. Start putting things together a little more. And it'll free you up. And then you will be in control with your own. Yeah. We can just hit this button right here. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Anyway, that T-cell lymphoma. Okay, so 100% fruit, berries, and melons. I've seen people that go on fruits, berries, and melons, and then in 3 months or so, they didn't seem to have T-cell lymphoma, according to the allopath. See, we don't treat diseases here, and I guess if that's a disease, it must have just flew itself away. I don't know. You know, it's like the allopathic community must get into cause and effect. You got to get into cause and effect. Drop the concept of diseases. That's going to be tough. You've implanted it in the human consciousness so bad that people can't even turn without thinking disease. You know, and they might go, look what we did. Yeah, what you did is brought down, you brought the negative into life, not the positive, because there's no such thing as that. It's pretty bad when you bring in a certain theory. You don't know why the theory, but it's a theory. You can't prove the theory, and you have no way to help the theory. Pretty bad. So, your husband, tell your husband to take that male energy of his, get himself on fruits, berries, and melons, get his kidneys to filter, go after that lymph system. I wouldn't take anything for the thymus gland right now, or the other glands. I just detox. I mean, endocrine gland formula, stuff like that. Go after the adrenals and stuff, but get off of anything that smacks of cheese, cottage cheese, yogurts, kefirs, anything that's milky, anything like that at all, even raw. You lose the enzymes after age 2 or less, lactase, to break down milk, most people. Some Brits maybe keep it, but reality is you're supposed to be weaned. You ever see animals? When it's time to be weaned, we raised horses, you'll kick that little baby off. No! Go eat grass. Well, in our case, go eat fruit. But you should have no problems getting rid of that problem if you get focused, if it gets focused on that. Now, I don't have time to read these two. These two are put together. But this is a good one. Here's one just real quick. I've had sinus infection for 7 years that just has never fully gone away. Okay, so that right off. Focus on, first of all, you have to hydrate to loosen. All right, because acids dehydrate and this mucus gets locked. People have gotten plugs and stuff like that out. This gets the sinuses, the bronchi, the trachea, the lung. They get voice box gets locked with this mucus, and the more acidic, the more locked and dry this mucus is. But the blowback is acidic, and that's interstitial. So things get harder, more swollen, because water's brought in as the universal solvent to try to break up things. So, the body's trying to get this done. But if acid chemistry just keeps coming in, you can only ravage the body so much. And then you're going to start to see it changing from ravishing itself of the calciums and things like the scoliosis and things like that. It's just the effect of acidosis and what the body's trying to do to defend itself against it. That's all it is. You can throw names on it if you want. But you got to work on the GI tract to break the sinuses loose. We talked about that earlier. Everything just kind of impacts upon the sinus here. And you got to work on the GI tract. Get the kidneys to filter. Hydrate. I mean, if you really wanted to break it loose, I guess you could chew on horseradish root. Or a neti pot, something up there, but I'd be careful about too hot of anything, because if you overstimulate the mucosa with peppers, you're going to get mucus from it, and you don't want to add mucus. You want to hydrate and loosen up mucus. Now, the 3-lung tea is a mucus loosener. Mullein, fenugreek, and pleurisy root all loosen up hardened sputum, mucus, and they're anti-inflammatories, which would make sense because they're antacids. Anything that's an antacid has an alkaline hit and is loosening up, hydrating, and loosening up hardness. And that's how you got to do that. You can neti pot. I'd candle my ears, 3 or 4 candles per ear. Work on my spine and my neural lymphatic system. I think it was from living in the basement of a college dorm that had water. Yeah, you could have fungus, and you could take, Parasite M and get the fungus out, but it'll come out in detox. But you got to get rid of all the other stuff the fungus left, uric acids and all the crap and mucus and that. You got to get that out of there. Additionally, I've also had the mystery about, this is a female having a vaginal infection that doctors don't know what to do with. Well, how stupid. Doctors don't know what to do with your vaginal infection. That's because it's a lymph system, honey. And your kidneys, you got to get, it's just telling you your kidneys aren't filtering. So you got to get your kidneys to filter, whether you're dry fasting and you're water fasting. Some lady, a friend of mine, she just went on a 10-day lemon juice diet. But she's been, this is about going on 20 days now of fruits. And she had a real massive kidney, they would call it a kidney infection, even had bleeding. She took care of it with the herbs. And 2 days later, she's filtering. That's everything to start filtering. But look what she had to go through to get herself to filter. She went through bleeding, and you turned it on to the doctor and had it, nope, it's detox. I'm going to hang tight. We have a bleeding formula for bleeding. It's a homeostatic. It'll stop bleeding for you and help you while you're working and opening up these very inflamed, very closed off areas of the body, particularly the kidneys, but everywhere. So this just shows me that the sinus and the vaginal area are tied. How are they tied together? The lymphatic system, honey. I would douche with a Heal-All tea. That's how we turn around atypical cells. That's why the tea was first made. I made the Heal-All tea for females, actually, but to turn around atypical cells. So I would douche for one time a day or a night for 2 weeks. But if you want a true cure, you've got to go through the kidney channel and get yourself filtering. Now, it seems to be a cross between a UTI and bacterial vaginitis. Nothing's bacterial. You know what? This is the stupidity of the AMA. They will kill your lymph node bacteria to try to stop this vaginal yeast infection. The problem is it is not bacterial, it's yeast infection. It's fungus, but that's not what's infectious. It is your lymphatic system. That's why you can't get remedy. You're trying to kill that which you can't. You're trying to kill the helpers, the messengers. You can't do that. That's medical thinking. They don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. I mean, they don't have any idea. They're sitting there with nothing here. It's blank. I don't know. Here, let's give you some antibiotics. Let's just kill your lymph node bacteria to compromise your health even more. I mean, these guys are nuts. So you really got to open yourself up and learn a lot more about this. This has been reoccurring, and I've used to take antibiotics for this too. Oh yeah, I bet you have. My sisters and I all seem to have endocrine-related issues, you think? Genetics, honey. My sister was just diagnosed with endometriosis and Hashimoto's, okay? So the same system that creates endometriosis, which is which system? That's an easy one. Get that out of there. That's the lymph system, and she'll break down the uterine wall or weld it to the bowel. And then, of course, that same system is suppressing thyroid function. Clean that up and everything starts functioning normal again. You know, it's that lymph system. It isn't the blood that's suppressing. My other sister gets her period twice a month and has hyperthyroidism. Uh-oh. So this is important. That means she could have hypopituitarism as well. That means you really want to get in her head and detox her sinuses and head out. That'll bring her out of hyperthyroidism. But you've got to get all that. In hyperthyroid, you don't touch anything. And I submit she probably has hyperpituitarism, actually making hyperthyroidism. You know, it might not be the hyperthyroid, it might be the pituitary causing that. Either way, in a hyper case, you detoxify, nothing else. Go on a 10-day grape diet. Pull that inflammation out of there, that acidosis out of there. Because acidosis can create, in the acute, which is the beginning stages, or the subacute, which is the second stages, you can create hyper or hypo conditions. Either one, doesn't matter. Could be either one. But in a hyper state, you don't take nothing for that. It's a hyper state. What's hyperstating that? Acids. Or some other foreign chemistry, but still, the only way to get rid of it is what? Detoxify. So you could take iodine. Iodine stuck in your thyroid can hyperstimulate the thyroid gland. Oh yeah, taking iodine has created a lot of hyperthyroids, and then they get to take the thyroid out. A couple of years ago, I found out that I have benign ovarian cysts. Well, it doesn't matter whether benign or what, because it's still a tumor. Call it a cyst, call it whatever, but it's still your lymphatic system. It's going back, showing your kidneys and adrenals are down, your whole family's down, but I'll tell you, most of us are down at large. So these are the areas that man is losing because of the type of foods he's been eating. It's that simple. When you change the type of food you've been eating, guess what? This stuff fixes itself. Oh. No, that's pretty simple. Don't make it complicated. You make it complicated, that's the mind, and the mind can never grasp truth. It's not about truth. It's about creation. It's about the illusion of life, the grand illusion, not truth and who you are. It's about your journey, your fun times, or not. I feel like they have grown inside. You got to get your lymph system. Everything's going to grow, guys, if you don't get your lymph system filtering it out. Everything's going to grow. I've always had anxiety, so where does that take us? Right to her adrenal glands. Right to her, well, there we are, right on top there. And depression. All right, depression, guys. What's depression? Parathyroid calcium utilization. All right? Depression, calcium utilization problems. Parathyroid. Well, she has hypothyroidism. Oh, that all fits. Or someone does. I've experienced spirituality and feel so lonely around people now and just don't fit in. Yeah, but you do fit in areas where we are all the same. This is what happens as you grow in your awareness. The chit-chat changes. You no longer can sit and just idly chit-chat and gossip and talk about others like most people do. You're at a much more higher level of carrying yourself, of respecting others, and of looking at life and feeling the divine working through you. And you're working for people that are like-minded or like-awake, that can share that divine high and just a different way of carrying yourself and interacting, and verbalage is different. It's no longer the Peyton place, the Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, things like that, where it's the journey. Now you're awakening to who you are and the higher forms of life, of looking at life and carrying yourself. So yeah, and so your friends are going to change, more than likely, and that's okay. But you have different levels with individuals waiting for you. Yep. Now, not that I necessarily want to, given the current state of things. I've said this before, we each are alone in ourselves. You came to this planet alone. You're living it alone, except for whatever babies and children and animals and people you pull around yourself to hide that. And then, of course, you leave it alone. So you must take time appreciating the alone. Not the physical, the aloneness of consciousness. Because in that aloneness, believe it or not, when you go through that door, you've just arrived at the door of pure awareness, pure consciousness, no thought involved. That is where all life comes from. So you're actually going back home. Yep. Now, fatigue even as a child, well, you're going back to the adrenal glands and probably a little thyroid to caboot. You got both of those down, there's not a lot of energy in the body. Memory problems and stuff like that. Go after that. Go after the health of your body, upper circuit, brain and nerve. Go after the kidneys. Go after the skin. Go after the lymphatic system. Pluck up the liver gallbladder. I mean, get yourself well. We got the tools to do it. God gave all the herbs to do it. We put them into formulas that will help better. I mean, all kinds of things. These formulas are intuitively made. I put them together with help from the divine. So have fun with this. I've got to run now over this. Excuse me. Oh, listen to this. This is Suzanne. Oh, excuse me. Oh, crap. Okay. Over the summer, I did a 29-day grape diet. Yeah. Master fast. After that, my seasonal allergies went away. Oh, wow, look at that. You know why? Because you're working on your lymphatic system, dear one. Yay! I know a little bit from watching your videos, but I'm hoping you can tell me how these conditions are related to one another and what I should start with. Thanks. Lots of love to you, honey. Go after your lymphatic system. Go right into the kidneys, the adrenals, the lymph formulas, the stomach and bowels. See how I put these kits together, and you'll see the rhythm that I've developed to detoxify. It's a better rhythm, because if not, like I said, I used to get calls all through the night, detox calls, healing crisis. You do it right, your healing crises are minimal, and your journey is faster and better. You know, it's to have fun. You want this journey to be fun because you're getting your bodies better. You're learning how to control your mind, not be controlled by your mind. You're learning to control your emotions. You're learning to be strong in the physical body and be pain-free and flexible. And you're learning to see things that you never saw before because now you're watching instead of thinking.
Straight.
Yeah, yo. Love you guys. See you on the next video.